Hello everybody, and welcome to the Retro and Loogi show. I'm Retro.
And I'm Loogi.
And today, we're going over our top 15 favorite songs from the games included in Super Mario 3D All-Star. But, before we begin, I would like to give a disclaimer. These are mine and Loogi's personal opinions, and are not based on actual popularity among the fan base. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Starting off the list, we got Piranha Plant's Lullaby. While Piranha Plant's Lullaby is semi-iconic and a favorite among many, it's just not as exciting or memorable as the rest of the songs on this list. But, despite that, it is accurate to its name, as it is calm, peaceful, and makes you want to fall asleep. Which, while that's what the point is, it makes it a double-edged sword, and that's why it's the lowest. Take it away, Loogi.
Yeah, Piranha Plant's Lullaby is really peaceful. This track almost feels like a little break from all the drums and trumpets of the rest of the OST. When you walk up to a sleeping piranha plant and hear that gentle lullaby start to play, it almost makes you feel bad for killing so many of them. Almost. Next up, we've got Bianco Hills. This track is a great choice for the first level. It sets a good standard for what the player can expect from the rest of the soundtrack. Nice themes with a cool tropical feel to them. But we feel there are a few tracks that just capture that tropical feel a tiny bit better.
I definitely agree with you. It's an excellent choice for a first level, but comes short when compared to the rest of the soundtrack. Although, there weren't very many other options, so yeah, but it definitely does feel tropical, but is missing those vital instruments. So on to number... Koopa Road. Ah yes, Koopa Road. I love this theme so much. It really feels like you're on your way to fight something bigger than yourself. And feels... how should I put this? Epic? But besides that, and being pretty memorable, there isn't much else going for it, which is why it's only number 13 on this list. What do you have to say, Loogi?
Yep, this theme definitely lets you know that you're on your way to the final battle. The intense percussion, the ominous vocal lead. Listening to it now, I'm honestly surprised this track is from an N64 game. It sounds that good. For number 12, we've got the File Select theme from Super Mario 64. This theme just has a great feel to it. It's really relaxing, and it's definitely bound to bring back some good memories for anyone who's played Mario 64.
Speaking of memories, I remember when I first booted up Super Mario 64 DS. I know, scandalous, you gotta get your torches and pitchforks out, right? And when I got to that menu with the castle reflecting onto the bottom screen, I immediately knew that this was going to be a great experience, and the music just tied it all together for me, which is how it should be. Now, after hearing it 100 times, it's bound to get less of a wondrous experience and more of a thing you just pass by to get into the game. But we couldn't find it in our hearts to place it super close to the bottom of the list, and that's why it's at number 12. Oh boy, Gelato Beach. This is one of the most ideal beach themes for a video game. The steel drum at the beginning and the distorted guitar coming later to essentially complete the piece just makes it feel so soothing and tropical. It takes me back to being on the beaches in my state and sitting on the sand and watching the waves come in and out. What do you think, Loogi?
Yeah, this song absolutely nails that tropical feel. The steel drum, the guitar, there's even that saxophone that comes in a bit later. This theme is pretty much the ultimate chill song, which fits perfectly with how soothing Gelato Beach is. Well, soothing as long as you're not pushing around a big watermelon. Ah, Space Junk Galaxy. Who knew that a level with junk in its name could have such beautiful music? This song just makes you think of space. It's vast, it's empty, but it's also really beautiful. While other songs from Galaxy try to convey the adventurous side of a space journey, Space Junk conveys the calm side of it, and I really enjoy that.
Oh boy, Space Junk Galaxy. A piece of music that feels barren but busy at the same time. Almost like a waltz in the way that the piano dances around. And hearing it brings back memories of those stupid fly together platforms, and that gross freaking spider thing and its weird pulsating nipple things. Ugh. But that's enough about this one. On to the next. COMET Observatory. Man, if this isn't iconic, I don't know what is. The only thing that makes it lower on the list is because of the fact that you hear it all the time when you're in the hub. And eventually you just kinda tune it out. And that's not what's supposed to happen. But it's still a good piece of music, as well as being iconic and memorable. Loogi?
Oh man, COMET Observatory. All my nostalgia aside, and believe me, there's a lot of it, this is just a really beautiful piece. A 3/4 waltz theme isn't really something you'd expect from a Mario game, but it fits in really well here. The COMET Observatory certainly doesn't have as many things to do as DELFINO Plaza or Peach's Castle, but with its backstory and its music, it's just as magical. Number 8 is the slide theme from Mario 64. While I do have some frustrated penguin-related memories involving this theme, I won't deny that it fits perfectly with every situation it's played in. Whether it's racing a big turtle, riding magic carpets through the sky, or trying to beat some stupid fat penguin who always pushes me off the slide, it does a great job at giving off that chaotic yet fun energy.
Oh man, hearing this reminds me of when I first pulled off doing a shortcut on the first slide level, and man was I so proud of myself when I did that. A little bit of interesting trivia about myself. On Tall Mountain there's another slide, and in front of the entrance to said slide, there was a continuous wind gust. And copying that sound was how I learned how to whistle. And that's pretty much the biggest reason why it holds a special place in my heart. Staff roll from Super Mario Galaxy. Now, I never beat Galaxy, but before you get the torches and the pitchforks out and start to have a riot and DDoS me and hunt me down, I did listen to the whole soundtrack, and this song definitely stuck out. I love the way that it reuses the overture theme from the menu of the game and turns it into a whole finale piece, fit for the end of an epic adventure such as this. It definitely stuck out at me, and that's why it's in the top 10. Time to pass it on to Loogi. I bet you he has a lot more to say.
Yeah, that 6-note motif heard in the overture is also the theme you hear whenever you pick up a power star, so it's cool that they decide to start off the staff roll with it, since the player is really familiar with it by the end. Along with the song sounding really triumphant, it also gets really peaceful around the minute 45 mark, where it transitions into this calm remix of Gusty Garden Galaxy. Altogether, this song just feels like a look back on your adventure, which makes it a phenomenal credits theme. Coming up at number 6 is Delfino Plaza. I don't think this theme captures that tropical feel quite as well as Gelato Beach, but it's definitely far more fun and memorable. That fast-paced guitar bass line just makes you want to run and jump all around, which works out great for Delfino Plaza with how many streets and buildings you have to play around on. Anyway, let's see what Retro has to say. He's a much bigger Sunshine fan than I am.
He is right. I am a huge fan of this game, and Delfino Plaza is pretty iconic and a real good tropical theme. The reason it's higher than Gelato Beach is truly because of how iconic it is and how much it's used. Since like most of the soundtrack is like remixed versions of it. Whatever, it's besides the point. I would like to give a recommendation to a remix of this song though by the 8-Bit Big Band, and they did a French hot jazz version, and it sounds really good. But the original song sounds really good as well, so, you know, it's up to you. Pick your poison or whatever. Oh man, Galaxy Reactor! I cannot say enough about this absolutely astounding piece. If Koopa Road was a perfect representation of going into a big battle, then this was godly. The dramatics of the whole thing is amazing, starting with this fanfare that sends a chill down your spine and causes you to sit up straight in your seat and get ready for whatever the final level has in store for you. And after that, there's a short pause with a little synth arpeggio. Then it breaks into the marching drums and the dramatic strings. It just feels final. And, if I may say, way better than the final boss theme itself.
Yeah, this theme is absolutely amazing. That dramatic trumpet intro moving into those ominous strings, combined with that driving drum beat, this theme really lets you know that the fate of the universe is at stake. Galaxy as a whole went for a lot more of a dramatic tone compared to other Mario games, and this track is a shining example of that. Bob-omb Battlefield is the defining song of Super Mario 64. Whenever someone thinks about Super Mario 64, this tune most likely pops up in their head. And rightfully so. Its high energy and upbeat nature perfectly represents what Super Mario 64 is all about. Just having fun running and jumping around these big open worlds. And not to mention how catchy this song is, I find myself humming along to it a couple more times than I'd like to admit.
In fact, Loogi, I bet you were humming this as you wrote this script. But anyways, Bob-omb Battlefield. Man, I remember when I first played this level and how fun it was to run around and dodge that stupid chain chomp and shoot through the cannons. And then since the theme also played in Womp's Fortress, since I like to recycle a lot for whatever reason, I remember going up to the top of the tower and forcing King Womp to gravel before me. But anyhow, it's such an upbeat and jolly theme that brings back many, many memories, and that's what's important about this one. On to the next one. Buoy-based Galaxy is not one that I have a lot of experience with, but I do remember watching Easter egg videos where they said that it looked like a Pokeball. Unfortunately, that's about the extent of my knowledge about the actual level, but the music I absolutely love. The use of the drums and the alien-sounding space synth goes really well, surprisingly, with the militaristic marching beat of this song, which really works, assuming that it's supposed to be another military base for Bowser's troops, kind of like Battle Rock Galaxy. I don't have much else to say about this. Have anything to add, Loogi?
Yeah, this theme is a great blend of military base and space adventure, which is perfect because that's pretty much what the level is all about. That weird space synth works perfectly as you swim up to this giant floating tower, and that marching drum beat fits great as you climb your way to the top, dodging all the enemies and obstacles. The song sounds great, it fits the level, it's memorable, it's just overall a really great theme. Keeping with the theme of water, number 2 is Dire Dire Docks from Mario 64. While it may not be quite as iconic as Bob-omb Battlefield, I enjoy it so much more. It's got all the relaxation of Piranha Plant's Lullaby, all the great sound quality of Koopa Road, along with all the nostalgia of the File Select theme. This song is a great representation of everything right with Super Mario 64's soundtrack. Moving along to retro.
Dire Dire Docks. Oh boy, how iconic is this song, am I right? I mean, it's one of the most chill themes. Every time I hear it, a chill goes right down my spine. I guess it could just be the nostalgia kicking in. It actually brings back memories of when I was little, and I tried to do Luigi's flutter jump thing from the DS version of Mario 64. And I remember standing in my living room and jumping and trying to kick my feet, stay in the air. But, you know, overall, I really love this theme so much. And it makes me want to fall asleep. But there's no time for that. We gotta get on to the honorable mentions. Boy, I love how militaristic Battle Rock Galaxy sounds. It's not as iconic as the rest of the list, but it's good. The synth works perfectly with the march tempo. The synth works perfectly with the march tempo and motif of the rest of the instruments. Then it hits that string part that feels hopeful and inspirational, and then more instruments come in, harp, trumpet, other brass instruments. It's amazing, but it's just not enough to make the list.
My honorable mention is Good Egg Galaxy. This pick is mostly nostalgia based because I spent a lot of time there as a kid, mainly because it took me forever to realize that I could go on the other side of the starting planet.
Come on.
Yeah, I was a really dumb kid. It's a great song, but so is the rest of Galaxy's soundtrack. Ultimately, it wasn't quite impressive enough to make the list. While we both really enjoy Super Mario 64's staff roll, it didn't quite make the list. But don't let that make you think it's a bad song, because it definitely isn't. It's really memorable, and it's got just as much nostalgia factor as Dire Dire Docks, if not more. For anyone who grew up with this game, I'm sure this song holds a very special place in their hearts. Well, as long as they beat it, because, you know, you can't hear the credits music if you don't beat the game. Anyway, on to retro.
I definitely agree with you, Loogi. The fact of the matter is, it's an amazing song that probably packs a lot of nostalgia for people who played all the way through the game when they were little and finally beat it. But it's just not known in other communities, unlike Dire Dire Docks, which if you ask someone on the street about it, I bet you my bottom dollar that they'll probably know what you're talking about and have tons of memories attached to it. TLDR, in short, it's just not as memorable. Gusty Garden Galaxy? You mean probably the most well-known Mario Galaxy song? It's so inspirational and exciting. I can only imagine when they played this in the studio and the absolute smiles on their faces. I just love it so much. It's like going on the most grand adventure of your life. And that's why it's number 1 on this list. I'll let you nerd out now, Loogi.
Yep, anyone who knows anything about these soundtracks was probably expecting this one up top. And as much as we love not choosing based on popular opinion, it's honestly hard to find a song that tops this. Like Retro said, it feels like an adventure. You've got that triumphant trumpet intro, and then the guitar comes in, then that clarinet, and the violins, and the trumpets come back in, and it's just amazing. When the main melody comes in and all the instruments swell up, man, it gives me goosebumps every time. The release of Super Mario Galaxy marks the first use of a full orchestra in the Mario series, and Gusty Garden Galaxy displays just how incredible that can be.